I'd like to call to order the City of Franklin Planning Commission, January 21st, 2025, 6 p.m. Could I have roll call, please?
Norm Gayler,
Here.
Georgiana Alton,
Here.
Jim Martin,
Here.
Bill Carson,
Here.
Suzanne Finley,
Here.
John Kempsky,
Here.
Irene Nowley, Michelle Stringer,
Here.
Matt McElroy,
Here.
Thank you. May we have a pledge of allegiance, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a new member tonight that's joining us from the Park Board. Her name is Michelle Stringer, and she's going to be sworn in now. Not sworn out, but sworn in.
Sworn in. I will not swear. Michelle can swear at me anytime she wants. Michelle, you stand up, raise your right hand.
Please.
I will. Do you solemnly swear or affirm you will honorably and faithfully carry out your duties as a member of the City of Franklin Planning Commission in accordance with the ordinances of the City of Franklin, laws of the State of Indiana, and the Constitution of the United States, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you very much. And there is paperwork in the
Yes.
clerk treasurer's office, so you can get your whopping big salary.
Okay.
Welcome aboard,
Will do.
Michelle.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be here.
The next item on the agenda is election of officers reorganization, and I'll open it up for nominations. Do I have a nominations for president?
I nominate Norm.
Second.
We have a first and second. Do we have any other nominations? Do we have a motion to close the nominations for president?
Make a motion to close the nomination.
Second.
All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
So roll call on the nomination of Norm Gaypart for president. All those signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
You can't say no. You're out.
The next position open for nomination is vice president. We have any nominations for vice president?
I nominate Georgiana.
Second.
We have a motion, a second for Georgiana as the vice president. Do we have any other motions for nomination?
Make a motion the nominations be closed.
We have a motion for closure. We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion to second. All those in favor of Georgiana all those in favor of closing the nomination signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those in favor of Georgiana for vice president signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Congratulations, Georgiana.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion and nomination for secretary?
I nominate Jim Martin.
We have a motion for Jim Martin. Do we have a second?
Second.
Sorry.
I think Georgiana got you on the second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second for Jim Martin as secretary. Do we have a motion to close nominations?
Sure we do.
Motion to close the nominations.
Thank you.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those in favor of Jim Martin for secretary signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Congratulations, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
Appointment of legal counsel.
Make a motion that we appoint Lynn Gray legal counsel.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn.
Thank
Do we have a motion for the approval of minutes or amendments, deletions, or corrections for December 17, 2024?
Thanks, Julie. Well done. Appreciate it.
Yes. I make a motion that we accept the minutes as written.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes as submitted. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Passes unanimously. Okay, now we're down to the point of swearing in of all those who would like to speak tonight. Lynn will handle that.
Thank you. Would anyone who's going to be presenting anything to the board tonight, please stand and raise your right hand? You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give tonight be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Thank you, gentlemen.
Next on the agenda is report of officers and committees, Technical Review Committee. Joanna?
The last technical review committee was held December 19th. There were 2 items on the agenda. The first one being the Wawa subdivision primary plat, which will be heard this evening. The second one is for the Cornet Building at 1518 Amy Lane. We discussed this one at the last meeting where they are building a separate structure just north of their existing structure. The reason it went back to technical review committee is because they had redesigned their initial site to a completely different design, so it had to go back to technical review committee. And that's all.
Thank you, Joanna. I don't see any old business. We're into new business. Wawa subdivision. Joanna, would you like to address that before the petitioner does?
The request before you this evening is for primary plat approval of a 2-lot commercial subdivision. The property is located on approximately 10.4 acres at the northeast corner of Earlywood Drive and US 31. It is currently zoned mixed-use regional center and the Gateway overlay. Previously, you had reviewed this site, saw kind of some preliminary designs with the rezoning request that went a couple months ago. In addition, they are proposing a right-in only entrance on US 31, which would require NDOT review and approval, 1 entrance on Sloan Drive, and 1 entrance on Earlywood, with no access easements along all the rest of the frontage, except for those entrances. There are no waiver requests, and it's ready for the board's consideration and action.
Would the petitioner from Wawa subdivision like to address? State your name, please.
Yeah, good evening, Paul Hansen, CESO. The address is 7777 Bonham in Clayton, Missouri.
Thank you.
So I'll begin by Happy New Year to all of you. It's been September since we've been to this commission. As Joanna said, 2-lot subdivision bounded by Sloan to the north, US 31 to the west, and Earlywood to the south, adjacent to the school property to the east. Access points 3, the one off of US 31 is a right-in only. We just got preliminary NDOT approval right before this meeting to allow the access, so I'll share that email with Joanna. And then obviously the one off of Sloan and Earlywood to a private drive. All 3, or 2 of the drives internally are private. No maintenance requirements by the city. It'll be by the subdivision. Ultimate use for Lot 1, the southern lot, is Wawa, the convenience store. Food Mart, as discussed in September, 8 fueling pumps, pickup window, fly-through windows, what they call it, so it's all done by mobile ordering, no menu board, and average turnaround time is 1 minute or less for that. And then future electrical vehicle charging to the east side, closer to the school, trash enclosure, typical, and then air spaces to the north. As discussed before at the September meeting, Wawa's history goes back a long time, over 100 years. Started as a steel company, turned into a dairy in 1902. Started their first convenience store, no gas, in 1964, and then went to gas in about 1993 to open their first one. There's 1,500 stores now? Just over 1,100 stores within the territories that the regions that they operate. So the Midwest is a new market, and super excited to be here. Super excited to be in Franklin. Do you guys have any questions?
You chose well.
Thank you.
I think so, too.
I didn't choose, Pat chose.
Well, you chose well then.
Joanna, what's a common ground lot?
Something
That's
It's a
good.
common area. It'll
Common.
be renamed on the final plat.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's for the stormwater basin,
So that's where your
one of the retention basins.
detention and retention? and
Correct.
Detention, okay.
It'll serve both lots, to the north and to the south. It'll, both Lot 1 and 2. And then there's a smaller basin on Lot 1, just because you can't get all the water over to it, so.
And so with
Matt and his staff on all that.
2 acres, but it's going to be basically for green space, retention, detention?
That's it.
No building?
No infrastructure other than a stormwater basin,
Thank you.
of course.
I'm sorry, you might have said, but what is your plans on Lot 2?
Undetermined at this point.
Just going to market it?
Just market it, yeah. Wawa will market it for a future user. There's no known user or intended user at this point.
Okay.
But that'll come back before this commission at a later
Sure.
date, whenever that person decides to develop it.
Do you have anybody that typically works with you and follows you around the country?
I'll let Pat answer that one.
Yeah, Pat Moon with Wawa. For this particular location, we do not. Our real estate manager has been talking to several different users, but nothing I can talk about at this point.
Understand.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Pat, if I recall, and correct me if I'm wrong, Wawa has a policy of owning their own buildings and owning their own lots. Is that?
Generally, we lease our
Okay,
property.
I knew there was something
Yeah,
about
this
that.
one is unique. It was such the place we wanted to be, the price was right, so we bought the 10 acres.
But you usually lease?
We usually lease,
Okay.
yes, that is
I knew there
correct.
was something, I couldn't remember
Yeah,
what it
it's
was.
about 90% lease and 10% we own.
You land lease and build the buildings, or you?
The building's ours, yes. We'll build the building, but we land lease it, yes.
Okay. Thank you for the.
Yep.
There's no conditions on this, Joanna, correct?
There are
Okay.
But no waivers, right?
no waivers.
No waiver request.
Yeah, no waiver.
Would
no
you
waiver requests.
let us know the conditions, please?
Staff would recommend approval of the primary plat with the following conditions. There are 9 of them. Primary plat shall be stamped and signed by either a land surveyor or engineer registered in the state of Indiana. Half right-of-way of 35 feet shall be dedicated to the city of Franklin for Earlywood Drive. No access easements to be provided along the US 31 Morton Street, Earlywood Drive, and Sloan Drive frontages, with the exception of the location of the proposed entrances consistent with the plans received January 6, 2025. Entrance from US 31 Morton Street shall be restricted to right-in only. NDOT approval shall be provided for the proposed right-in entrance along US 31 Morton Street. Final entrance locations along the interior access drives will be approved through the secondary plat and construction plan review process. A written maintenance agreement is required for all access easements and must be approved by planning staff and the city attorney. The written agreement shall include, but is not limited to, the following items: maintenance, snow removal, ownership, and liability. A 20-foot utility easement is to be provided along the entire perimeter of the subdivision, which includes Lot 1, Lot 2, and the common area. The final condition, the front yard setback for Lot 2 along US 31 Morton Street shall be a minimum of 50 feet, and along Sloan Drive, a minimum of 20 feet.
We agree to those conditions.
Thank you. Let the record reflect that the petitioner agrees to the conditions as recited.
Do we have a motion on this particular primary plat approval?
Make a motion that PC 2428 be approved with staff recommendation.
We have a motion by Martin to approve with the conditions stipulated by staff for PC 2428 Wawa subdivision. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Carson. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Passes unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
You?
Thank you.
Other business, I see none.
I do have some.
I'm sorry.
I inadvertently left off, under the appointments, a representative of the Plan Commission being appointed to the Board of Zoning Appeals. The current appointment is Bill Carson, so we do need a motion and official action on that.
And Bill continued to serve after he received the appointment here, correct?
I do.
Is there any discussion or any suggestion nomination? Bill, I think would.
Are you willing to continue, sir?
Willing to continue.
Do we have a motion for Bill or anyone else? I make a motion, we appoint Bill Carson back to the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Passes unanimously. Thank you, Bill, for serving.
Thanks, Bill.
Any other business?
Since our last meeting, we have filled the building official position with Clay Fulkerson, so we're happy to have him join our department. And then also in front of you is a list of the memberships, if you could look through it and make sure all your contact information is correct. And if you would please highlight or mark which phone number you prefer to be contacted by, and then provide it back to me. That'd be great. That's all.
Joanna, anything from you, Matt?
Nothing here.
Nothing?
Nope.
Again, thank you guys for what you do. Do we have a motion for, or is there any other business from the members? Seeing none, let's take a motion for adjournment.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
A motion?
Second.
Second.
All those in favor signify